Hi there. In this video tutorial, we're going to see how we can extend the basic functionalities of a Gantt view. In a previous video, we covered all the basic functionalities of a Gantt view in XtraBuild Designer. We saw how we can build a new one. We saw how we can manage resources, tasks, groups, and skills. And now we're going to have a closer look at how we can navigate through the timeline. For example, if you're going to click on any place in the timeline and drag it to the left or to the right, you're going to go backwards in time or forwards in time. Also, you can scroll to zoom in and zoom out. And you can also import from XML or export to XML the entire Gantt view, and also export as an image. That image can be printed out to even a bigger format as A2 or A3 paper size, and it looks very good. Now, let's close out the Gantt view. Okay. Now, a very interesting thing about the Gantt view, because it has all this table structure available over here, we can interact with them and also with the data that is being stored in these tables. And we can do that by creating some extra views. So we're going to go to the desktop tab and create a grid view. Okay, we're going to create a new grid view and we're going to attach that to the tasks table. We can see that it's part of the Gantt, let's call it schema. Okay, accept. And we have our new grid view created for the tasks table. Now we're going to edit it. We can see that the tasks that have been inserted in our Gantt view from a previous video are now visible in this grid view. And we're going to customize it. Okay. And we're going to put in the name, the ID. Let's also put in created on, also start date and end date. And why not priority, because it's also very important, and duration. Okay. Now we can interact with the data that is being stored in this table by using this grid view. And we would like to put in information about project name over here in this section. To do that, we're going to save and close. We're going to go to the relations over here. We're going to click on project. We're going to create a new relationship, a lookup grid. We don't have a lookup grid created yet, because otherwise it would have been shown over here in this dropdown. But we're going to quickly create one. Okay. This is going to be tied to Gantt_projects. Click on accept. Save and close. And now we have it available over here. Click on save. And if we go back and edit our grid view, and scroll down, we can see that the project information is being available for display. Okay. Now we have the project name displayed as well. Save. And if you would like, you can also manage this kind of information using the grid view. Okay, now let's save and close. Now we're going to continue by having a look at another example. To do that, we're going to save and close this. And let's imagine that we want to create timesheets. And based on those timesheets, people are going to report the time that have been worked on a particular task in a particular project. To do that, we need to create a new table. We're going to do that by going to the tables, adding a new one. We're going to call this new table timesheets. Capital T would help. Okay. We're going to add fields. The first one is going to be called employee name. Okay. Besides the name, you would need a date. Okay. We're going to call this worked date. Then we're going to need the new one, which is going to store the number of hours. Okay. This is going to be called worked hours. Okay. And besides this information, we would like to link it to the project and also to the task. To do that, we will need to create two new relationships. We're going to put this one to the project and another one to the tasks. Okay. Both of these two are part of the Gantt view structure that has been created after creating the Gantt view. Okay. Save. Now that the table has been created, we will need to interact with that table. And we are going to do that by adding a new grid view. Okay. This grid view is going to be attached to the timesheets table that we just created. Okay. We're going to edit that. Okay. Customize layout. We're going to put in the employee name. Also the work date, worked hours. And as we can see, there's no field available for the relation that we've created for the project and also for the task. And that's because we would need to do some extra steps. Save and close. Go to the relations. Click on the project, Gantt project. Put in a new control. This is going to be a grid control. Okay. For the projects, we already have one available from our previous example. Okay, but for the tasks, we will need to create a new grid lookup because there's nothing available over here. Okay, plus, and this one is going to be tied to the tasks. Save and close. And now from this dropdown, select Gantt_tasks. Save. Go back to the timesheets grid view, edit, customize layout. And now we have the project and the tasks. We're going to put in task and project. Great. And now we're ready to insert our first entry using this form. Okay, employee name is going to be John. Work date, let's put it today. Work hours, this is going to be 8 hours. Okay. Now we're going to choose task number 1 and also project number 1. Save and close. Again, save and close. And now that information is being stored in the database. Of course, based on that, you can create chart views, dashboard views, report views, and so on to interact with that data and make it more visible to the eye. But in our case, we're going to continue by going back to the Gantt view. And we can see that we have a couple of buttons available over here. The task button is going to offer us the possibility of creating a report at a task level, and that is going to be connected to the timesheets table that we have used and created a bit earlier. Okay, and put in a new button. This button is going to be called timesheets. Okay, we're going to put it ribbon bar style large. We're going to also add an image to that button. Okay, and now we're going to connect the button to the timesheets table and also to the relationship between the timesheets table data and the parent view. Okay, from this drop down, we're going to select the available view, timesheets, save and close. And now we're going to go back to the Gantt view, click on edit. And as you can see, a new tab is being displayed over here in the ribbon bar. This is the button that we have created, but it's not available right now. It's grayed out, and that's because we need to load the project that contains our data. We have our tasks over here. We have task number 1. Go back to the tab number 1, and now the button is available. And if we're going to click on it, this is going to open up the timesheets form that we have used before, the one that has our first entry with John that worked 8 hours. If we're going to save and close this, we're going to select another task. Let's go with task number 3. Click on the button again, the timesheets button. It's going to open up the same form, but there is no information related to task number 3. We've entered information only related to task number 1, and we've seen that that is available because we have selected task number 1, and we can see information about task number 1. Of course, by selecting different tasks and clicking on the timesheets button, you're going to be able to enter new information, new entries, but connected to their task, the one that you have selected. Now remember that you can create this type of interactivity of adding new tabs, groups, or buttons at a task level, a group level, a project level, or those can be available overall the entire time, no matter what selection you're making in the timeline. And to create a new group, because we can do that as well, we can quickly add one. Let's call it group 1. Okay, we can see that that has been added to the timeline, and we can drag tasks in this same group, creating these types of interactions at a task level. I hope this has been informative for you, and I would like to thank you for watching.